This will be case 23-056514. Councils or appearances, starting with APA.
Good morning, Rhonda Hadar for the people, P84161.
Ms. Hayner, Your Honor, may it please this honorable court, Philip Reagan, P57156, on behalf of Mr. Morris Broadnex, who's appearing via Zoom from the Wayne County Jail.
Thank you. Do you waive formal reading, counsel?
I do waive the formal reading. He would stand mute to the charges stated in the complaint.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
So, Judge, my client,
Hold on, counsel. APA first.
Thank you, Judge. As it relates, the people are asking for a high cash bond, something around $500,000 cash, for a couple of reasons. As it relates to the defendant's prior record, he has an unarmed robbery conviction, a possession of controlled substance conviction, and most recently, June of 2022, he has a tampering with a tether and resisting and obstructing a conviction out of Wayne County Third Circuit Court. That goes obviously to his prior record and also to risk of flight. In that particular case, Mr. Broadnex was on tether for a different court case and was found in violation of his tether. And when police went to make contact with him, he fled. Police were ultimately able to apprehend him. So that goes to risk of flight. As it relates to the incident, this is an incident that happened on February 6th of this year. It was caught on green light camera. That camera depicts a very distinct gray, bluish Dodge Charger with a black hood and black front bumper shooting at an Escalade. That Escalade was shot in excess about 36 times. At the scene, police found 3 sets of shell casings.
Hold on, APA. 1 second. Is a complainant in this matter, APA, Mr. Boyer?
No. It is Cedric Russ in this particular case. Mr. Boyer is the complainant for the January 23rd incident, which Mr. Broadnex has already been charged in. That case is up for exam on May 1st before Judge Giles.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I know that Mr. Boyer personally. I've never met a Boyer in Metro Detroit that's not related to me, but if he's not the complainant on this case, I do not know him. If both counsels feel comfortable with me going forward, or should I get another magistrate?
The people have no issue, Judge. I mean, it would be up to defense at this point.
Judge, he's not the complainant on this particular case, so I don't see why that might be a conflict.
Okay, sounds good. All right, sorry, APA, you can continue.
No problem. So of the 3 sets of casings that were found at the scene of the incident, 1 set of those casings matched to a gun that was recovered from the house that Morris Broadnex was in. It is his registered address. So when police went to that house to execute a search warrant,
it's not. That's a lie.
Hold on, Mr. Broadnex. Hold on.
At one point, Mr. Broadnex was tethered to that address, the house on Chelsea Street. Police went to that house to execute a search warrant. They found Mr. Broadnex there. Mr. Broadnex ran back inside of the house, attempted to flee to some extent, then ultimately did, come downstairs, present himself to the police with a backpack in hand full of ammunition. When police searched that house, they found a gun next to his cell phone. That gun matched the scene of the incident on February 6th. That gun was found on February 17th, so 11 days later. We pulled Mr. Broadnex's call detail records from the time of the incident, had those mapped. He is at the scene, in the area of the scene of the incident at the time of the incident per his call detail records. Further, his phone was dumped, and in his phone, there are pictures of a very distinct grayish blue Dodge Charger with a black hood and a black front bumper. This is a circumstantial case. We don't have an identification. Mr. Russ doesn't know who shot him. He just knows that he was shot at. However, I believe that the evidence is very compelling. Mr. Broadnex is already on bond, being held in custody, as you know, for an assault with intent to murder case that happened on January 23rd. And the people are asking for a high cash bond in this particular case. We think that Mr. Broadnex is a danger to the community and that there's a high risk of flight considering his June 2022 incident.
Thank you. And for my benefit, the complainant here is a Cedric Russ. Does anyone have any knowledge as to whether or not this is the same Cedric Russ that I recently arraigned and gave a $5 million cash bond, which I believe was reduced to $1 million?
Judge, I believe that would have been his son. I think he was a junior. This Cedric Russ is in his 50s. That Cedric Russ, I believe, was like 26 or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Rob?
Defense counsel.
Yeah, Judge, that might be his father or the son, Judge, so they might be related. But I'm glad, Judge, Ms. Haydar stated that this is circumstantial. A lot of this stuff is circumstantial, Judge. No one has identified Mr. Broadnex as shooting them, as having a gun, pointing a gun at them. Judge, in fact, Mr. Broadnex, and Ms. Haydar is correct, he does have another matter pending, which has been adjourned 3 times because the complainant in that case has refused to identify or say anything implicating Mr. Broadnex in that particular case. So that case is to due up again for the 3rd time, May the 1st, Judge. And I believe the complainant on that case has counsel because he's asserted his 5th Amendment right. But in this particular case, Judge, this case was allegedly occurred back on February 6th. Now, the case pending, Judge, allegedly happened back on January 23rd. The warrant was signed February 20th. Mr. Broadnex was arraigned. His bond on that case was $150,000 cash. Mr. Broadnex posted that bond, Judge, on April the 19th. April the 19th, Judge. 1 day later, the Wayne County prosecutor signed this warrant from February 6th, 1 day later on April the 20th, Judge. Like, oh, wait a minute, he posted bond? So now they wait and sign the warrant, Judge, which, I don't know. He's had the discovery, Judge, from the older case. The people have been obviously looking at him for that case, Judge. I'm not going to act like Wayne County prosecutor just came out of nowhere with it. They've been investigating, Judge. But they didn't decide to sign the warrant until April 20th when they saw that he bonded out. I think that he's definitely not a flight risk, Judge. The fact that you post that kind of money shows, you don't want to lose that money, Judge, because if he runs, he's going to lose that money. Now, the danger to the community, I would note that, these are allegations are very serious, Judge. I mean, they are, horrific allegations, shooting at someone. But again, no one has identified Mr. Broadnex as doing any shooting. The most that they have identified is a charger, a car. There's a lot of cars, Judge. Obviously, Ms. Haydar might say this is a distinct car with a distinct color. But again, Judge, we cannot, say that it was Mr. Broadnex. I mean, because we don't know. We have no identification. It's all circumstantial. I'm asking the court for some type of reasonable bond, Judge. I'm not crazy enough to ask the court for a personal bond per se, although I would like the court to do that and give me a personal bond, Judge, with the GPS tether. And Mr. Haydar is going to say, well, he cut his tether off, Judge. He cut his tether off. Well, he's on probation for that. He's about to get off probation, Judge, for that. And he posted $150,000, Judge. I mean, he's not going anywhere, Judge. So I'm asking the court to consider, the bond. He has to fight these cases. He can't run, Judge. He's not going nowhere. He's been there for 2 months, Judge. He's been sitting in the Wayne County jail for 2 months, and he still has to go back and deal with this other case that they keep adjourning in Judge Giles. But I'm asking the court to consider reduction to a more reasonable bond, if not a personal bond, Judge.
Judge, if I could clarify, I know Mr. Reagan is working with the information that he has. I would like to say the complainant in the other case is cooperative. I did ask for an attorney to be appointed for him. That was the reason for the most recent adjournment. The other adjournments were due to discovery. There's a high volume of discovery in this case, and Mr. Broadnex's attorney and NDS was put on notice that charges were coming. I was waiting for the call detail records and labs to come back.
All right. Actually, the charges here are very significant, and while Mr. Broadnex may not have been identified personally, certainly the complaining witness and/or others have identified a vehicle which is similar to his vehicle. And then there's the 2022 cutting off the tether, which gives the court some great concern. So here's what we're going to do. Mr. Broadnax, while this case is pending, you are not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You're to have no contact with Cedric Russ, and should you post bond, you will be on a tether. Obviously, if you cut that tether off, you'll be hopefully picked up and going back to jail. Is all of that clear to you, sir?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Court will set bond at $500,000 cash surety. Counsel, is that affordable or unaffordable?
That's unaffordable, Judge.
Well, you posted 150, you might have 500.
Yeah, that's why it's unaffordable. You don't have the money. I mean, that's.
I don't know if he put, I think he had a 10% on that one, so he would have posted 15.
Oh, okay. So 150,010, Judge. So can we have maybe 500,000?
I did not have 10%. I did not have 10% on there.
No 10%, Judge. So can we have a bond similar to that, maybe, Judge? 150,000, 10% maybe on this one?
No, I'm comfortable with 500, and of course that will give rise to a bond redetermination hearing Monday, April 24th in front of Judge McConico here in 36th District Court. Further dates will be April 28th, probable cause conference, May the 4th for preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Sabri here in 36th District Court. Anything else for the record?
Yes, they lied and said that I had a blue Charger. I do not own no Dodge Charger. I have no Dodge Charger registered to my name. The prosecutor said that I live at 12603 Chelsea and I don't live there. She just blatantly just lied in front of the court and said that I own a Dodge Charger. I have no vehicle registered to me in my name at all. I have never, I skipped bond and I was placed on tether and I came to court. I said 6 months in the county jail for that bond hearing, for the cutting off that tether. I did 6 months in here. I was punished.
Judge, can you put me in a breakout room, Mr. Broadnax, real quick? Can you put us in a breakout room real quick?
They know I'm being punished again for that, Judge. That's all I have to say, Judge. And I mean, all due respect to this court, Judge. The prosecutor just got up here and lied in front of the judge and said that I own a Dodge Charger, and I do not own a Dodge Charger, and they presented no proof of that. And I got a $500,000 bond, and I just posted bond Wednesday. This is highly unfair, Your Honor. That's all that I'm saying. I have family. I have 4 kids at home. I have a family, a mother, and I have never been convicted or even tried for this type of crime. She waited until I posted my bond, and they come with this.
Sir, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your lawyer so you can talk with him privately.
Thank you, Mr.
And
hold on, Mr. Broadnax. Hold on, Mr. Broadnax.
Ms. Haydar, you might as well stick around until they come back.
Okay, could this be sent to Judge Giles since he already has the ALM?
You can take that up with the exam judges.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Yep.
So 5,000 cash bond.
Mr. Reagan.
Hold on, Judge. Yes, Your Honor.
I don't want to hang on to Ms. Haydar any longer than necessary. Are you done with that, gentleman, or what's the update?
Judge, yes, I was hoping if you could put me in a breakout room, Ms. Haydar, real quick.
Sure. I hope I can. I don't know if I can add a room. Let's see, what are my options?